Hello and welcome to another video. I am recording on my phone. Why? Well, the real reason is because my handheld mic stopped working. So this is the fifth fucking time that I'm recording this video. But we're going to be talking about black metal, specifically early Norwegian black metal, the first wave. Well, not the first wave of black metal, but the first wave of Norwegian black metal. So it's sort of fitting that this video has zero production value. You're welcome. Authenticity, baby. Authenticity. So, I don't know if you can hear, but I have a cold. Yeah, I'm sick. And because I have a cold and I'm sick, I want to talk about black metal. um, so for some historical context, um, in the long ago time of the early 1990s, a bunch of young lads got together in Norway to make some music. But as you will learn in this video, if you don't already know, because this topic's been covered to death by people who are way more versed in this subject than I am, um, there's a rogues gallery of characters that got up to all sorts of other shenanigans, up to and including the arson of churches, conspiracy, and yes, murder most foul. So, how did all of this happen? Well, this particular epoch in musical history, what scholars and music historians call the edgelord epoch. No, they don't. They don't call it that, but I'm calling it that, and that's just my video. Um, Basically, something was rotten in the state of Denmark. Only that's a Hamlet reference, and this didn't happen in Denmark. It happened in Norway, but they're both in Scandinavia, so it's fine. Maybe the reference works. I don't know. Maybe not. In either event, um, it emerged as sort of a response to the rise of death metal in neighboring Sweden and abroad in America and the UK. Now, these progenitors of the early 90s black metal scene saw death metal as being sort of very pretentious, very flashy, very showy, too polished, almost flamboyant. They wanted to create something a little bit more connected to, I guess, their environment, uh, in a way. Yeah. So they set out to make music that this would later become known as the necro sound. It was very much, it lacked production quality. It was raw. It was gritty. It was uncomfortable and unpleasant to listen to. I mean, you can enjoy it still, but it was by design uh, made to create a sort of discomfort and to sound very unpolished and underproduced. So when we talk about early Norwegian black metal, I'm sure the first name that comes to mind is Mayhem, and with good reason, because in addition to shaping this necro sound and being highly influential, a number of bandmates got up to very unsavory things. So black metal, of course, is famous or perhaps infamous for having outwardly very, I suppose, oh, sorry, not anti, very satanic, anti-Christian, perhaps nihilistic themes. But these guys, from the early Norwegian scene, they lived it, baby. They lived it. Um, Church burnings were one of the markers of this particular era and the scene. Some A number of arson attacks happened um, around Norway during this time, and that surprisingly, is the least troubling thing. And it is troubling. I mean, these churches had been standing for hundreds of years, and they were cultural institutions, cultural landmarks. But worse things were to come. Um, at the time, Mayhem uh, recruited a young gentleman from Sweden who had the stage name Dead. And sadly, he would end up dead a short while after joining the band. Um, he was a troubled young man, obsessed with death, obviously struggling with severe mental health issues. Uh, to give you an idea of how much he lived this role on and off stage, before performances, he kept a dead crow in a jar, and he would inhale the air from this jar so that he had the scent of death in his nostrils when he went on stage. Uh, this self-harm. He would also bury his clothing for days or weeks, months, however long, and wear this death-infused outfit on stage. Um, so very much more than a persona for him, and that would become very apparent when he unfortunately took his own life with a shotgun one day alone in a cabin. He was discovered by another key player in during this time and in this scene, and the founding member of Mayhem, uh, a man who went by the stage name Euronymous. His real name was Oystein Orsted. I'm probably butchering the name. I don't claim to know the Norwegian pronunciation, but in either event, Euronymous found dead there by his own hand, and he did the next logical thing, of course, rearranging the scene for a photo op. I'm not kidding. Yes, he took photos of the scene that he tampered with, and one of these photos would find its way onto the cover or artwork of a bootleg Mayhem album. Um, he also distributed pieces of Date's skull to members of the black metal inner circle that he deemed worthy. Not normal behavior, I feel. I mean, I'm not a psychologist by any means, but I feel that's not normal behavior. And at this point, it's time to take a bit of a detour and talk about possibly one of the worst films that I've ever seen, called Lords of Chaos. It came out in 2018. It was based on a book by Diedrich Suderson and Michael Moynihan, if memory serves. I didn't read the book, so I don't know how closely the film adhered to the source material, but the movie was hot garbage. For one thing, the main cast of Mayhem, who portrayed the members of Mayhem, were American, um, not Norwegian. And, so Euronymous was played by Rory Culkin. Now, he is notable for not being Norwegian. If you go to his Wikipedia page or his IMDb page, it says Rory Culkin, notably a non-Norwegian actor. No, it doesn't really say that, but he's also the brother of Macaulay Culkin. He's the brother um of the Home Alone guy. Yeah, it was just a travesty of a movie for various reasons. I won't even feel bad if I spoil any of it because I mean, don't watch it. That's my honest advice. What's happening here? Even these little things, I don't know. Okay, we're we're back. Sorry. Um, yeah. So Euronymous was portrayed by Rory Culkin, and the whole movie is just it's an abomination. It shouldn't have happened. But we're not here to talk about Lords of Chaos. We're here to talk about the history and the happenings. So coming back to Euronymous, he ended up murdered by another member of Mayhem, Varg, born Christian, Vikernes. He also went by the moniker Count Grishnak, which is from Lord of the Rings, I believe. I believe it was the name of an orc. Um, yeah, so Varg grew a bit power hungry and he wanted to dominate the Norwegian black metal scene. And he got it in his head that there was some sort of conspiracy spearheaded by Euronymous. Euronymous was going to fuck him over in some way, either monetarily or by causing him physical harm. So Varg went to Euronymous' apartment along with another member of the black metal inner circle by the name of Snorri Rook. And while Snorri waited in the car, Varg went up to Euronymous' apartment, made his way inside. Things escalated fairly quickly, it sounds like, and Varg stabbed Euronymous a number of times, including once in the forehead, I believe. Yeah, and Euronymous died. Varg went to prison. In Norway, there was some escape attempts and other crazy shit that happened. When Varg got out, he relocated to France, got married, had a bunch of kids, and tried his hand at being some sort of YouTube personality via his Thulian Perspective YouTube channel, which has since been deleted and banned. Because, you see, Varg went from being a notorious figure in the early Norwegian black metal scene to just being a sort of right-wing ghoul on YouTube and espousing some very uh sketchy nationalist views. So yeah, he disowned the black metal thing, I suppose, when he got out of prison, and he decided he rather wanted to push other ideologies. Why did any of this shit happen? Was it just a bunch of edgy young guys who wanted to show the world how evil they were? Or was there something more? Well, Sam Dunn posits in his brilliant Metal A Headbanger's Journey documentary, and Sam Dunn is an anthropologist. I'm not. I had two anthropology modules, I think my first and second year of university, and that's it. But he posits that it says something about Norwegian cultural sensibilities at the time. You see, there was this pervasive sense, as I understand it, that Christianity was something that had been forced upon the Norwegian people in, I suppose, medieval times, or whenever this happened. I'm also not an historian, but prior to the arrival of Christianity, which came to be seen by certain individuals and certain groups as oppressive. The Norwegian people were largely pagan and polytheistic, so there was this sense of hatred, this sense of anger amongst perhaps the disenfranchised youth in this milieu of early 1990s Norway. And the music was really an outlet for that. It was a vehicle for this hatred. And yeah, today Mayhem is still around. Obviously, two members that had died, one murdered, one by his own hand, another one that just is Varg. And yeah, Varg, interesting character. I don't think he's a reliable narrator, but he has said that his father was an engineer of some description in the service of Saddam Hussein, and consequently, Varg grew up in Iraq, went to school there, and this experience went on to shape some of the ideologies he espoused in later years. Yeah, so I'd wanted to make this video for a very long time. It's not a video essay. I'm not a music scholar. I'm just talking about something that I've always found fascinating. As for the genre itself, Yeah, look, I like black metal. I do. It's not my genre of choice. It's not my go-to, but I do enjoy black metal. The very early raw necro sound stuff, early Mayhem, early Dark Throne, even Emperor. Emperor was a little bit more polished for me. But I struggle to listen to it. It is very raw and very gritty, and you need to really be into the scene to really enjoy it. But there is something there to enjoy. I'd venture. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Most probably you didn't. I'm still grateful that you watched. Bye.